Hello everyone. Today we will learn about the basic concepts of object-oriented programming. In this module, we'll learn about the following topics: basic concepts of object-oriented programming, difference between object-oriented programming and procedural programming, advantages of object-oriented programming. Now, from this diagram, we can see that the basic concepts of object-oriented programming are object, class, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance, and encapsulation. Now, we will discuss these topics in detail to understand their meaning. Object. Object is an identifiable entity with some characteristics and behavior. Class. A class is a group of objects that share common properties and relationships. Class can also be defined as a blueprint from where we can create an individual object. Now see, in the example given below, we have a class named student. The student class has states, namely name, age, color, and sex, and it has a behavior like eating, drinking, and running. Now we are creating three objects under the class student. The first object has the name John, age 12, color fair, male, sex. John can eat more, John can drink more, John can run first. The second object has the name Sophia, age 10, color fair, sex female. Now Sophia can eat less, Sophia can drink less, and Sophia can run slow. The third object is Lily. It has a name Lily, age 11, color dark, sex female. Lily can eat more, Lily can drink more, Lily can run fast. Abstraction. Abstraction refers to the act of representing the essential features without including the background details or explanations. Consider an ATM machine. Using an ATM machine, we can withdraw the cash, we can transfer money, we can receive the mini statements. But we do not see the internal working of the ATM machine while performing these operations. Polymorphism. Polymorphism means it is the ability of a message or a data to be processed in more than one form. As for example, you behave like a student when you are in a classroom. When you go to the market, you behave like a customer. And when you are at your home, you behave like the child of your parents. So, you are one person who is providing different behaviors at different situations. That is polymorphism. Inheritance. Inheritance is the capability of one class to inherit the capabilities or properties of another class. The class whose features are inherited are known as the superclass or the base class or the parent class. The class that inherits the other properties or other classes' properties is known as the subclass. So, the children inherits the properties of the parents. So, that is an example of an inheritance. Encapsulation. The wrapping up of data and functions into a single unit is known as encapsulation. Like for example, inside a capsules, different medicines are encapsulated. So, capsule is a encapsulated version of various medicines. Now let us see some difference between object-oriented programming and procedural programming. Object-oriented programming, as the name suggests, it is object-oriented, whereas the procedural programming is structure-oriented. In object-oriented programming, the program is divided into objects, whereas in procedural programming, the program is divided into functions. Object-oriented programming follows a bottom-up approach, whereas procedural programming follows a top-down approach. Inheritance, encapsulations, these properties are there in object-oriented programming, whereas they doesn't exist in the procedural programming. Object-oriented programming uses access specifiers, whereas procedural programming doesn't use any access specifier. There is a concept of virtual function in object-oriented programming, whereas there are no such concepts in procedural programming. Examples of object-oriented programming are Java, C++, whereas examples of procedural programming are C, Pascal. Now let us see the advantages of object-oriented programming. It is simple, it is modular, it is modifiable, it is extensible, it is easier to maintain, and it has a function of reusability. Here are some exercises for you. Solve them out, and if you have any doubts, please clarify. Thank you.